my name is Denise. I'm an eco ambassador, and today I will be taking you guys on a virtual field trip. I'll talk a little bit about Monterey's chaparral environment, and I'll discuss what that means later on, and how the plants in this area are adapted to living here. One of those adaptations being their root systems, and we'll also talk a little bit about the importance of seeds. So if you guys are ready, we'll go on a nature walk. Plants in Monterey go through really harsh conditions, and this is because Monterey is a chaparral, which means it's a really dry environment. And plants have adapted to this dryness by being really good at retaining water. So the little bit of rain that they receive, they keep it in. We also have to think about how Monterey is next to the ocean, which means that these plants are constantly experiencing this crazy wind. And they've adapted to this too by having really strong and deep roots that can anchor the plants down, especially when there's a lot of wind. To recap, I've talked a bit about how water and wind cause these adaptations, but also I want to talk to you guys about fire. A lot of plants in chaparral environments are also adapted to this because it's so dry. A more dry environment means we're more likely to have more fires. And so this is coyote bush, which is a native plant that has all of these adaptations. As you can see here, the root system is extensive, which means it's drought tolerant, and also it helps it anchor down from the wind. And these leaves, they're kind of shiny, and this waxy leaf allows the plant to also be resistant to fires. Another example of an incredible root system is the Monterey cypress. The reason this plant is so important in the environment is because it helps prevent soil erosion. Soil erosion is the process of wind and water removing the top layer of the soil. This layer, called topsoil, helps create this kind of really nutritious bed for plants to germinate, which means to grow. It also has a ton of these microscopic organisms that break down and recycle nutrients. This is why having native plants that have deep root systems are so important, because they help keep that topsoil there. Now that I've talked about the importance of roots, I also want to talk about the importance of seeds. So this is a coast live oak. It's a species of oak tree, and its seeds are acorns. As you can see, these are kind of long and thin, but different species of oak trees produce different shapes of acorns. And they're a really important food source for the wildlife in the area, obviously including squirrels, but also rodents and acorn woodpeckers. And they were also a really important food source for the Native Americans. And so they're an important tree for wildlife and people, and they're really easy to spot because oaks are one of the most common trees in California, and you can virtually find them in any landscape. As I mentioned before, the acorn is a really important food source for woodpeckers, and so these holes you can see here were actually drilled into this bark by the acorn woodpeckers, and that's where they store the seeds, and every year they'll come back and reuse the same holes and add new ones. So our next stop on our virtual field trip is the beach. And I'll show you a really cool flower that has an incredible wind adaptation. As you can see, it's really windy, and this is a perfect example of a wind adaptation. These flowers are called pink sand verbenas, and their seeds are so small that they're actually adapted to use this breeze to disperse their seeds. After learning so much about seed and root systems, I actually personally started becoming really interested in being able to think about how many seeds I even have in my own home and sprouting, which I actually think is a great activity that many of you can try from home. I have a friend that bought this little spade to fork growing kit, and as you can see,
There's sage, cilantro, basil, all of these things to cook with, and this is only 2 weeks of growth, and they've already grown so much, and I think it's a really fun activity. If you can buy one of these growing kits. If you can't, you can even do it from home. If you have any sort of apple or pear or bell pepper that has seeds inside, you can take out the seeds, clean them, and put them on a piece of paper. You can wet the paper so it's a bit damp and store it in this kind of moist environment for a couple of days, and it should sprout. I tried this cotton pad that I think it soaked up a lot of water, so I think a better alternative that I've seen on the internet is to take a piece of just paper towel and put these seeds on here like this. We'll just use one for now. I mean, you can use as many as you want, and fold this up and put it in a Ziploc bag. I have this little reusable Ziploc bag, and after having this for about a couple of days, it should sprout. I think sprouting is really fun. You can watch things grow, and if both of those, either buying a growing kit or doing that at home. Another fun thing is actually growing sprouts. Something I saw is you can put lentils in here or any seed and then fill it up with water and poke holes through this and drain it and shake it and drain it every couple of days, and you should actually watch all these seeds sprout and grow, and you can add those sprouts to salads or soups or any kind of dish that you'd like. So sprouting or seed growing is something that you can do from home. It's pretty affordable, and I encourage all of you to do it. Thank you for joining me on this virtual field trip and on this little kitchen/gardening activity. And yeah, thank you for watching.